Hello, this is Blake. I had a pantry appointments video up and I didn't like it. I didn't think it flowed really well. So I want to do another pantry and freezer organizational and some emphasis on reducing the use of particularly plastic baggies. I used to use plastic baggies a lot in storing things in the freezer. I still use them to some degree, but I've decreased my usage by about one tenth, I'd say, by using glass jars or old plastic Tupperware that I've had for a really long time to store things like chicken in or veggies that I've cut up or things like that. So I've reduced my impact, and the cost of baggies has gone way down. That I used to buy them, I think, fairly often. I don't know quite how often, but I used to. Now I don't have that expense to the extent that I used to have, and I also reduced my impact on the environment. So I'm going to show you my freezer and my pantry and let you take a look at how I have it organized. You can see from the pantry that it's been a long-term process to where I got to that point many years ago of how I have my pantry organized. And I've just stuck with it. So I don't know if I'll be changing, but right now it works for me. So this is my pantry. It's got about 3 shelves plus an open area in the bottom. We keep the trash can in the pantry because we have 3 dogs. And so it's best to keep it away from the dogs. Not that they've ever tried to get into it. In the pantry, I have these shelf separators that separate into 2 shelves there. And I also have them on the second shelf here and the second shelf over here. So that's one of the ways I have my pantry organized. I keep this for things like crackers and cookies that might be loose in plastic baggies. I put them in plastic baggies. On this shelf, I have quite a few of the pans that I use on a regular basis that I want to have accessible really easily. I also have ingredients for chili like kidney beans and tomatoes. I have sauerkraut, I have Quaker oats and chicken broth. You can see I have about 4 containers of chicken broth right here. And so I use them for like chicken soup, which I try to make fairly regularly. This shelf, the second shelf, has flaxseed, breadcrumbs, peanut butter wafers. Each box is about $1.25 at Aldi. Pasta on the bottom, couscous, yellow rice, container of cookies and crackers, some other snack foods, some cereals, some trail mix, peanut butter, corn, Jello pudding and pudding, and olives and rice. Excuse me, that's cornstarch and canned soups. And then the top shelf has one thing that I use that's a little different, is a Lazy Susan that has like molasses and vinegar and salt and syrup and olive oil, and here's canola oil also, and semi-sweet chocolate chips for baking, and organic olive oil to use with cooking, and then storing some more things like colanders that I've had for a really long time, and sugar in a closed kind of like holder that keeps it fresher. Brown sugar, syrup, chocolate syrup. Here is my freezer. I don't have an ice maker because the refrigerator was about $100 cheaper to just make my own ice cubes in ice cube trays and not get an ice maker into it. I didn't want to deal with the filter in the water also. I use a Brita filter now. But here's where I've reduced my use of plastic baggies, chicken breasts in containers, some kind of stock that I stored in a glass container, turkey left over from Thanksgiving that I store in a glass container. Down here on this side of the freezer is are onions that I have stored in a glass container, cut up onions, two things of cut up onions. So that's the side of my freezer. And then I have some bread that I store about half of my bread when I buy it in the freezer because I don't go through it quickly enough. I did use a plastic baggie with that. And I'm using up some of the Tupperware containers that I still have before I go over to glass completely. Or I tried to use this stasher bag with this chicken breast, and it worked okay. It's a $20 stasher bag, though, and I can't afford to buy $20 baggies very often to put in the freezer, even if they are silicone and good for the environment. So that's my freezer. Hello, so that was the freezer and the pantry. And you see some of the changes that I discussed with you as I was showing you that I've made to be more practical and to utilize things that I've had a long time or to replace plastic baggies. I hope you found something you could use in the video and that maybe you'll subscribe or click the notification button to be notified when new videos come from me. I did like the chance to redo this video because I thought the other one just was not quite what I wanted, and it didn't explain what I wanted to explain. So anyway, thanks so much.